Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, Legion Baseball Talk. Joined by, and to my right, the state chairman for Missouri American Legion Baseball, Tom Rhoads. Tom, how are you, sir?
I'm just fine, thank you. How about
Man,
yourself?
you're back again.
Yes, I am. 2 in a row. I appreciate this.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
This is what it's about, right? We're chatting up
Yeah.
American Legion Baseball. It's over the past few years. Let's talk a little bit about that, because that's something I think that's very important. We started working with you guys back in it was 2021.
21.
And here we sit, growing.
Yes.
Teams are getting bigger. Division II, new league.
Yes.
Innovative, having some fun, growing the game. Some really good teams making good runs in regionals. New commissioners. There's a lot going on.
There is, and it's moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're trying to build the program up, create the interest out there in our program, and there's people they're definitely interested, and I do appreciate that.
Tom, you took over for Gary Stone.
That's right.
And, nothing of anybody. I'm not making it. But how did you just start this process? You know, when you look back at that to where you are now, how do you think you were going to get this done?
Well, I think probably the key factor was to look at the competition. Mm-hmm. And I know competition may be an incorrect word in a sense, but
sure.
Who was out there and what were they doing to attract the interest of the baseball players? So evaluating those teams that are doing what they're doing and how they're doing it showed me kind of a way to bring that into our own program in a manner that would make people want to play for us. That was probably the key thing there, that the key analysis that was made. What are they doing? What are we doing? Because we saw a downturn in the business, a downturn in the play,
yeah,
a downturn in the teams, and so what was going on, and that's what I came up with, that we needed to do that. The first move, as you know, was to contract with you. That was because we were not getting the exposure. We were used to the newspapers and stuff, and that's how things got out during the summer. That is, and we needed to do something different. Someone mentioned to me something about the social media, and I went out and talked to several different companies,
right,
and then set up with you, and I'm glad I did.
Well, I appreciate Rick Anselm, because he was the gentleman that recommended us, started on this. And, and he's talking, of course, about Red Earth Productions, our digital marketing side. If you're interested, give us a call. Talk with Lauren. She does a great job. And the other part of this is, do you think there was a correlation, because as I've gotten into this, talking with the American Legion, there's been a little downturn in that. Do you think there was a correlation to that in some respects, or was it just on the baseball side?
I think it was just on the baseball side. Yes, there is a downturn. I know that American Legion, the state is concerned about membership and things of that nature, but no, I don't think there's a direct connection between those two things. This program has always been sort of independent. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's supported by American Legion Baseball and everything, but it's still been a very independent thing, and it was due to the fact that the players were finding, the parents were finding other interests in other baseball programs, and that's what happened. That was the reason that we had that kick in the number of these other teams and the downturn in Legion baseball.
Gotcha. Well, we're looking at the upturn. We're looking at these things moving forward. We've been talking about the initiatives, and when one of them, we did it last year, was to get the kids involved, and I think it worked very well with prep baseball, the scouting organization. Kevin Mulder, who is the scouting director for Missouri, you guys started talking with them and discussing, that opportunity. So where does that go going into 2025, Tom?
Oh, that's definitely a repeat. We definitely want to do that again. I think that it's something that we've had some significant interest in, and there are players and parents that are interested in that type of approach towards reaching out towards the colleges and major leagues and their boy playing for baseball beyond Legion. So that was definitely something that the other teams were doing that we weren't doing, that we added.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And, just in these things, you can see the level of play. I thought Shelton Dean stood out in that PBR showcase. And here recently, we did this on our baseball talk show with Kevin Mulder. Charlie Morgan from the Mule Club plays at Warrensburg High School. He was at the fall games, invited to the fall games event there in Columbia, and he showed very well. About 200 kids there.
Wow.
And he was at the top of a lot of those metrics, which shows you the kind of work that he's putting in, the kind of development that is still there, and the opportunities that are there playing Legion baseball.
Those points are all true. I would agree with you on all of them, but there's one additional one that you probably would add if we talked further, but I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here, and that's coaching.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's the development process.
Yes,
absolutely.
You need good coaching.
Absolutely, Tom.
And to that end, this Sunday, we are having our very first coaches clinic.
That's a good plug.
And I say yes, and I say our first because there's going to be a second and a third. I know we're talking winter workouts.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
With you, and I'm very excited about that. But I'm excited about this first coaches clinic. Why? Well, first of all, I'm a coach. I was a coach in baseball, Legion baseball. I was fortunate to have a good group of boys for several years, and I enjoyed it. I was talking to the wife just yesterday about, some of those seasons were, we're doing like 39, 40 games in 1 month. And she reminded me that I was gone most of the time. And she's right. And if you're listening, honey, there you go.
It's the truth, man.
But, how exciting was that for me? I mean, and for the boys too. I learned, they learned, and that's one of the reasons that I really have been interested in developing a clinic. And I've done something now with St. Louis University. Sunday, we're going to have our very first coaches clinic down there at the university field with Darren Hendrickson and his staff. Yeah. And I'm really hoping that we'll get a nice turnout, but it's not going to be the last one. It'll be continued on, because that's another thing. As we began to look at the analysis of what are the other teams that, I was talking about earlier, what are they doing and what are we doing as Legion? Well, a lot of those teams are bringing in coaches that have pedigrees.
Yeah.
Major league experience, perhaps minor league experience, D1 experience. And then what about the Legion coaches? Well, majority of our Legion coaches are volunteers.
Absolutely.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with a volunteer.
No,
at all. But they're volunteers, and so sometimes there was a discriminating comment or two made about, a Legion coach versus a coach over here. We might have better coaching over here. We need to do more with our coaches, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say, hey, first of all, thank you, coaches that are out there that want to come out and do this. For the program. Second of all, let's get you some experience Let's get you some clinic experience with some professionals that can make you a better coach.
And to your point, Tom, I think that's the toughest thing about I think today's. I'm looking at this. I love the point you made, because for one, if you're married and whatnot, you got kids and whatnot, it's a demanding time frame.
Yes, it is.
So, and I think that's the toughest thing that I think we've fallen into with the volunteer coaches.
Yeah.
We can all say we want to, back a little bit, pace wasn't as maybe as much and whatnot. Today, you got mom, dad working. Mm-hmm. Where are the kids? What are you doing? Running, going. They're playing the sport.
Oh yeah.
So I think you've lost the opportunity on some of the volunteer guys, and I think that's something that how are you looking at maybe addressing some of those things, and what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the obvious knee-jerk thought would be to pay them, mm-hmm. And some programs are doing that. They can afford that. They can do fundraisers or whatever. They can afford that. The others are, again, into this, hey, you know what, this is the program to benefit the kids. Do you want to help us do that? And a lot of them will say yes. The issues that we run into in
mm-hmm.
our program is that when that player, and many times it's their son or whatever,
right,
graduates or moves out of where they're not going to be able to play anymore. Okay, what about the succession planning?
I think that's a great point, right?
Yes, it is. I mean, we've had many issues where we had a plan, we had a team, we had a program for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and then all of a sudden it stopped. What happened? The coach stopped coaching
because his son moved on.
Moved on.
Yes.
So I mean, you tip your hat and say thank you and everything, but those are real life things that are going on.
What do you think needs to happen now? Was it just not being addressed? And where do those things happen within the hierarchy, with the commissioners and then to the state directors? How do you help these clubs understand and recognize those things?
Well, you do just that. You begin to talk to them about what is your succession plan, mm-hmm. and make sure it's part of your ongoing strategy. That there's a plan to do this, and this is what's going to happen. Okay, Tom's going to coach here for a while, but we know he's going to move out. We're going to bring in somebody else here. So you see that kind of development, and they're thinking about it. A lot of times these programs don't, and that's what gets into a problem.
And I think it's interesting too, because that just made me think, with the coaching clinics, mm-hmm. you have a succession plan. You can start mm-hmm. bringing that younger guy or that person that's going to be taking over. Get them into the clinics, get them into those things, and start preparing them for what they're going to be facing, right?
Yeah, and I'm not, I'm looking at this and very seriously looking at perhaps even a certification.
Oh, interesting.
A coach's certification. Sure. Whereby that coach would become a certified American Legion baseball coach for Missouri because he's went through this. I mean, the ABCA, we mm-hmm. have a national affiliation with them.
Right.
They have a program. I'm looking into what we can do there to make that something for Missouri. And I think that could answer the question about the certification and so forth. But the succession planning is different. That's an individual post or program issue that they need to address.
Absolutely.
No, that has to be addressed.
But I think, but you're putting the tools in place.
Yes.
To bring the opportunities. If you got a coach that's coming in, maybe he's played, but how do you set up a practice plan? Mm-hmm. What are the development processes for you? What are you doing? How are you helping the kids set up for winter workouts and things and continue to keep the program moving? I think those are things that sometimes maybe we're just not that. Yeah, I can go out and run a practice, but am I prepared for those things?
You just brought up a couple of good issues. Those are building blocks.
Yes.
Once you put that into place, they can stay there, whoever the coach is.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You mean, so I'm going to take over for you. You're going to give me your coaching plan. You're going to give me the things that you've been doing. It's a plug and play situation for me.
And if you don't like certain things, you can add something you like or something take away.
Oh yeah.
That fits more to your personality. I think those things are absolutely, Tom. And I think but having those conversations is necessary to start people to think in this fashion, because I don't know that it's been happening as much.
It's not as happening as much as you'd like to see it.
Right.
And it gets back to the quality of the coaches and some of the issues that come up during the season that we've had to face. And a lot of it is just because some of the coaches just need to be tuned up a little bit as far as the rules, what's the right thing to do for the kids, as far as developing.
I love it. We'll have go to the website right on the homepage. The link is there for coaches to sign up for the coaches clinic. I believe it's a $30 sign up fee,
right?
Which that's not bad. If you're talking about Division I, this is the Division I head coach at SLU and his staff running this coaches clinic, right?
Yes, actually. Costs more than that, but the state's stepping in and offsetting some of the cost. Yeah.
Santa Claus right here.
Well, I think it's
I'm kidding.
No, don't be kidding. I think it's very important. I really do think coaching and quality coaches is very important for our program.
There you go. I love it. See, but that means you do care, and that's why, in working with Tom over the past few years, that's the things he does. You may not know it, but the state has done a lot of that, subsidized a lot of things because you believe in the program, and that's huge. So I want to talk about the D2 league a little bit here. This is the development of, now we're going into its third year.
That's right.
Started out, I think the first year was 4 teams. Last year, 7 or was it 8?
I think it was 8. Yeah, 8.
I know the Fayette Falcons down in Springfield area, around maybe north of Springfield, I think it was. I'm not quite sure where Fayette is. I know it's in the south. It's in that, which is cool because honestly, that's, I think, the first team that's been in that zone in a while.
Oh, yes. It is.
Right?
Yep.
The Atlanta Bullets,
yep.
They won the thing. You still have the Sheraton County team in there. Boy, I know it. I should have had it in my notes, and I do that sometimes. I'll know I'm going to talk about something and forget to do that right there.
That's okay. I mean, it's a good program. It's a good start. There's a lot of room for growth, and I guess for those of you that are thinking about the possibility of bringing a team into the D2 League, we do not have any restrictions as far as age. So they can be freshmen, sophomore, juniors, or seniors. They can play and will play other D2 teams, but they are also playing all the other Legion teams that are in their area, whether it be a varsity team, a JV team, or a freshman team. They can play them too. There's a state tournament, and that's going to continue on. I really hope to see. I'll be reaching out to almost all of the high school coaches in the next couple weeks, reminding them of the D2 League, and reminding them that we're looking to build this up and encouraging them to bring their team in. It takes a small town team and gives them an opportunity to play during the summer.
Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely. And because we're just looking at Zone 1, you had the Atlanta Bullets, Cahokia Prime, Putnam County Coyotes were up there, and the Sheraton County Cartel. In Zone 2, I think the Harrison County Hot Rods.
Okay.
Were it was D2, Harrison County Hot Rods. I think the Trust Fall Patriots. I can't remember. I believe they were a D2 as well.
I think so. Oh yes, yeah.
And then in Zone 3, of course, it was Southwest Missouri Cobras and the Fayette Falcons.
Yeah.
So you had these teams in there playing. And so that's growth. Why is it so important to have this league, Tom, within American Legion?
It's taking and giving some of those teams that would never consider playing in this league an opportunity to play. Why wouldn't they play in this league? Because they were playing against teams that were drawing from 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6 high schools.
Sure.
You know, and so they were overmatched. Nobody wants to go to a game and watch it 15-0 or 14-1 or something like that. Nobody wants to do that. So why not make it to where we set this up for teams that are from basically the same kind of background, small high schools, small towns. We don't want them driving 150 miles to a game, but I mean, and then get them to play together against one another. And then, of course, like we said, we have a state. That's the reason we wanted to do it. We wanted to bring the small towns into play. There are so many small towns in this state that do not have teams. I look at some of the teams like up in Minnesota, where they've got, 350 teams?
Right.
They've done a very similar thing. And so they've got all these small towns that have a team, and they've developed their own rules like we did with the D2. And that's why.
I think it's because it's a similar fashion to why Misha classifies schools.
Yes.
Right? You
Yes.
got class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's because, class 1 schools, I've seen class 3 schools that, have good players
Sure.
go and play a class 6 team and even win some of those.
Okay.
It doesn't happen all the time.
No.
And that's the rarity. And many of those are private schools,
Right.
know. And so that's it. But public schools generally on the smaller end, you're fielding maybe 12, 13 kids at the most.
At the most.
Right?
Right.
So, and who can pitch, who can't. So I think that's the great part of this, and I think it fits within that same scope, right?
Yeah, with opening up the ages too, because now,
Yes.
oh, wait a minute, we're going to play, but he's a freshman, he can't play in the team. Well,
Right.
Geez, that's 2 or 3 of our boys on the team, so
Right.
that's why we opened it up for all of them.
Is that a national rule that a freshman can't play on a 19 and under team? Is that true?
No, a freshman could play.
Okay.
Yeah, he
All
could
right.
play.
So you keep saying that he can't play on that team because he's a freshman, but they can play up, they just can't play down.
They
right?
can't play down. Right. So that's one of the things.
So if you only had a junior team, but you had this senior, he couldn't come down to play on that team.
No.
So you couldn't use that player. Right. And that, to me, is the biggest issue right there. So if you don't have enough kids for a senior team, but you're trying to put together this team,
Right.
that's what the D2 is about.
That's what it is. Gives them a chance to play during the summer.
Absolutely. And I think it's fantastic.
And as a team, too. Don't forget that we try, with Legion Baseball, we're trying to keep that focus on the schools, the posts, your city and stuff. We like to keep that together.
What's the next step for this league, Tom? Where do you think it really takes its growth in that respect?
I think we're going to have to set up its own commissioner. I've talked to one of our commissioners right now about taking the lead in it for next year, but I see this becoming its own entity.
That'd be cool.
Oh yeah. So we'll have our own D2 state commissioner, and he may even have his own commission, as such over the state. We could. This could get to be a big league.
That would be fun.
Yes.
That would be cool. I think that's a fantastic thing. As we're talking about initiatives and the things, I want to bring this up. I always want to bring this up because I think this is the big deal here. Centennial.
Yes.
We are 1925 to 2025 coming up next year. Celebration. We're talking about doing some cool things on the horizon for this. What does this mean to you as a state commissioner or a state chairman, as far as the Centennial, the opportunities that it brings?
Yeah. The first thing is I'm honored to be part of this. I really appreciate this position, and I look forward to this centennial year. I want to encourage those that are watching and listening to send me your ideas on things. I'd like to get some more.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to get some more of the ideas from the ones that are already in the program or not even in the program. If they've got some ideas for a Centennial promotion, please include that. I know that coming up next month, we have the fall conference in Jefferson City.
Right.
And I know you and I have talked about that's one of the places that we'll have a booth there promoting it to all the posts in the state, but we will be promoting the Centennial year starting then. I know we've already kind of got the word out that it's out there, but for me personally, it's just a lot of fun. I mean, this is a fun part of the job, so to speak. And in setting up something like this, it's an honor to be part of it. I mean, 100 years, my goodness.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
It's been a minute. That's why I say, when people talk about, club baseball's new. No, it's not. It is not. It's 100 years old. And I know that wrinkles some people a little bit wrong because we don't equate American Legion baseball with club baseball in its current form, which, okay, that's fine. But these have been clubs, and you've been part of this club as a freshman to your sophomore, junior, and senior years. You grew up playing American Legion baseball, and you were part of that club that was post 177, that was post 218, that was, post 622 or whatever the case may be, 611, Baldwin.
Right.
It's got a rich history. You go down to Jackson, 158, 150, all these posts. These guys, they remember playing. I'm sitting here talking with Darren Sissel, the old Daniel Boone post.
Sure. Yes.
Thoman Booth,
right.
our Mitch Thomas. Yeah. He grew up in that program, in that club. And so I think we shouldn't, that should be embraced. That should be the thought process. Hey, wait, let's get back to that a little bit. There's a place to have these things. And what are we doing here as a club to help these kids continue to grow as first people, baseball players, and see what happens from there. Building some values and whatnot that's what it was always talked about with American Legion Baseball.
One of the things, too, that we've talked about, and you and I met with the Warrenton Athletic Club earlier this week, was some showcase games out at their facility for just this, the Centennial year. We're talking about a Centennial tournament. Would be Centennial, trophies or rings or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's gonna reign supreme? Gotta love that.
Reign supreme. We'll be talking about, freshmen, JV. That's kind of what we talked about there. We might even throw in some the D2 too. I don't know. I would just have to see how that all goes and how much room we got.
Yeah.
But that's what the Centennial. That's just some of the things that fire off. It's a good thing to be involved. You're involved with a program that's been around for 100 years. It doesn't happen all the time.
That's it, Tom. I mean, this is honestly, and I think that's where the excitement is coming. And I think the more you're showcasing that talent and putting those things on display, we're seeing some really good baseball. Some really good baseball. I love these initiatives. The coaching, especially, I think the coaching clinic showing, that commitment to the development process. That's a huge part of this.
It is. And it'll be worth it.
So
I encourage those that are watching, if they haven't registered or signed up, please do. It's this Sunday, 10 to 12, St. Louis University. And there's registration form online. And
go to the website,
right.
MissouriAmericanLegionBaseball.org. Click the button.
Even if you're not a coach. Why is it just for coaches, right? Even if you're not a coach, come on out.
Oh, man. There you go.
Yeah.
Tom, last words?
Oh, my. Okay. There's a few things we're doing here to do fundraising Okay, that's definitely a big part of our initiatives going forward here in 2025. We've got our state store, okay, and we'd like to see more of that. I'm sure I'll be talking with the fellow there about Centennial shirts and whatever.
Absolutely,
that's going to be going on. So you need to keep your eye on that.
The first, just what Tom's talking about, we're going to do the first 50-50 raffle coming up in October, starting October. That's coming up pretty quick. And it's going to be about the Centennial, raising money to help that process, help, with the costs of putting on tournament, putting on showcase games, those things. Those things all cost money.
Yes, they do.
So we're gonna be pushing that one there. And we're going to keep going. We're going to do one a quarter.
Good.
To, as we move through. So these will be open. We're going to share. We want the pot to go big, right?
Right.
And not to mention, hey, look, the holidays are coming up. A little extra cash in your pocket ain't always a bad thing either,
not.
right? If you win that out. And so we'll be putting that stuff up here shortly. You'll have the information. And where you can get in on the 50-50 raffle and that's what this is about, to generate the funds to help for this Centennial Celebration. Share it with your posts. We want to get the word out to all the posts everywhere so we can put on a big to-do in the state of Missouri.
There's other fundraising efforts that we're going to do, next year again. We'll have that golf tournament that we did last year. Okay. And this is big, and we had an all-star game coming up with the Busch Stadium. We're going to be having tickets ready to sell here in January, probably.
That's right.
And this year there's a little different. We've approached the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are great to work with. We just had a
big shout out to Ty Rogers, right?
Yeah, they gave us Emily. Westlove just gave us a bunch of tickets again last week that we were able to give out to a lot of the Legion folks. But we're talking this year about a game that will not be the same day as our All-Star game.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. And so the All-Star game we're looking at will be, we're trying to target something in August, late August. The game that we'll be playing will be a different date. But the point is this, that we need to sell those tickets in order to do this.
And yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And yes, we can use it as a fundraiser too, but I'm hoping that we're going to get a lot of folks fired up about it. We're thinking about some incentives, talking about different ways to incent this. The Cardinals, by the way, gave us 6 spots now on the field before the game.
Yep.
So whatever game we choose, whether
there'll be 6 people be allowed, and these are going to be some cool stuff. We're going to do some things.
Yeah.
Maybe even incentivize whoever sells the most tickets, player-wise, may get to throw out the first pitch.
That's the other thing.
There's a first pitch out there.
There's a first pitch, and they're giving us the shot out there at the batter's eye.
That's right.
So we could take
cool stuff.
We could take a bunch of veterans out there. One year we did like the teams that won state, depending upon the timing of it. There's been talk about different games and so forth, but it'll be big for us. And so I really encourage you to all the posts and all the folks to buy these tickets.
It's the 100th. Let's celebrate it.
Let's do it.
Right? Absolutely. A lot of good stuff going on. You can see it. Look, if you want to contact Tom, if you have any questions, if you have suggestions, like I said, his contact information is on the website. You can contact us, go right there. Boom. See Tom, his information. Oh, do you want to do that?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, well,
let's do it now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll put this out and we'll get this. This is the state, right? Or is this national?
This is the state, and this will be awarded at the fall conference October 18th and October 19th is when this award will be given to this individual.
So we want to announce here on the show that the American Legion Baseball Scholarship for 2024, correct?
That's right.
Has been awarded to Reagan Candlebinder of Washington Post 218. This young man, I've seen him play a number of occasions. Heck of a ball player, smart kid. He is the recipient of this year's award. That's a pretty good scholarship.
Oh, it is.
That's cool.
That is cool. And congratulations to Kent Getzey as coach.
Absolutely.
He's the one that talked us up and sent all the information in that was needed.
So we're going to be reaching out to Reagan, and we're going to put together a little featurette.
Yes.
For him that we can put out on the website with Reagan, and we'll see him at the award ceremony.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to that. Congratulations, Reagan. Good job, buddy.
Hey, speaking of congratulations, I just mentioned his name, Kent Getzey. Yeah, he's going to be...
that's right. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah, it just happened. Go ahead.
It just did. Kent is going to join the commission, the state commission, as a Zone 1 commissioner. So, yeah, we're excited about that. We appreciate Kent and everything that he's done here recently with the regional down there, and then with that whole program. Washington is a real star in the programs around the state, and I do appreciate that Kent has decided to add this to his many things that he's doing already.
Absolutely.
But he'll be a good addition.
I love this. Good stuff coming up, folks. Appreciate you tuning in, Tom, as always. We got some great guests coming up next week. We're going to have Jason Howard from Post 226, new commissioner coming on. Followed up, we're going to follow it up with Connor Spinagle, get a chance to meet him, new commissioner. We're going to have Russ Clicker coming back on the show. We'll get Kent back on. We've had Kent on a couple times. We're going to get some coaches coming on talking baseball. So make sure while you're here, please hit the subscribe button. If you like to hear about Legion Baseball, subscribe. Hit the dinger right next to it. It doesn't get you a home run, but it gets you a notification for upcoming episodes of Legion Baseball Talk.
It's still a dinger.
Is it? That's right, Tom.
All right.
That's right. And so we appreciate the support and supporting the baseball around this state and clubs like American Legion Baseball. So we appreciate it very much. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day in the Lord, all you pitchers. Got some advice for pitchers, son?
Oh, what would be my advice? Keep your left shoulder in. Don't let it go out too soon. Keep it pointed. That. Yeah, keep the left shoulder in.
Look at that, man. He's getting working the mechanics. I was just hitters just hit them where they ain't.
Well, no, they're going to say, Tom, wait a minute. What about the righties? The same thing with the righties. Keep your shoulder in. Swing that gate.
We'll see y'all next time.